Today we are going to learn how we can sketch quadratic curves, the points you need to help you sketch a perfect or a correct quadratic curve. Thank you once again for joining me today to go through these steps. Enjoy the video. Given that the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 4, and we are asked to sketch the graph of this function. Okay, so first let y be equal to x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay, we use y because most of students are familiar with y representing f of x. Okay, so now we let y be equal to the quadratic expression. Okay, so y is equal to that curve. Now, what you need to take notice is the value of a. So from here we have that a is the coefficient of x squared is greater than 0. A is positive. So once you know a is positive, it means the curve will have a minimum. A minimum value, and the curve is U shape. Okay, once a is positive, we know the curve is U shape and to have a minimum value. Okay, so now let's go. How do we find the points to sketch this curve? First of all, you need to find the axis crossing point. And in some cases, we say the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So they are the axis crossing point, the point at which the curve cuts the x-axis and the y-axis. So first, we find the y-intercept. Okay, so find y-intercept. That is when x is equal to 0. And that will give us y equal to, since x is 0, we have minus 4. That means the curve cuts the y-axis at the point minus 4. Okay, then we look for the x-intercept. That is when y is equal to 0. So x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. So now I have a quadratic equation we have to solve. You can solve this by factorization, by quadratic formula, or by completing of squares. So among these three methods, the one that you find comfortable working with, you use that. Okay, so solving this by any of the three formulas, we have that our x is equal to minus 1, our x is equal to 4. So it means the graph or the curve cuts the x-axis at the point minus 1 and 4. Okay, so these are the x-axis cutting point, and y equal to minus 4 is the y-axis cutting point. Okay, now what we need to know, so now we have this as minus 1, 0, and this is 4, 0. So we have 3 points, this, and that. And these are the axis crossing points. Okay, what is left is to find the turning point and the minimum value. The minimum value is the value of y, at a turning point. Okay, so now we need to find the x value at a turning point and the y value at a turning point. Okay, there's many ways of doing that. One way is at this point, you add the x-axis crossing point and you divide by 2. So you find the average between the x-axis crossing point, and the average will give you the x value at the turning point. Okay. So we find x value point is, so minus 1 plus 4 divided by 2, that will give you 3 on 2. So in this case, the x value at the turning point is 3 on 2. We need to find the y value at the turning point. That means we have to substitute this into our function y, which is equal to f of x. Okay, so we have our y will be equal to 3 on 2 squared minus 3 times 3 on 2 minus 4. And solving this will give you minus 25 on 4. So the y value at the turning point is minus 25 on 4. So we have at the turning point, we have the values 3 on 2 and minus 25 on 4. These are the values at the turning point. Okay, so now we have the point, we have the turning point, we have the x-axis crossing point, we have the y-axis crossing point. Now we can sketch our graph. Okay, so sketching the graph, we have y, our x, this is our 0. Now you know the x values at the cutting points. Okay, so we have minus 1 here and we have 4. So the graph will pass through these 2 points. You know the graph is a U-shaped graph, okay, and the y value is minus 4. Okay, so it means the graph will pass through minus 1 here and pass through minus 4 and it will turn. This is just a sketch, so this is 4. And at this point, this is the turning point. Okay, the x value here is 3 on 2 and the y value here is minus 25 on 4. We have our y equal to x squared minus 3x minus 4 as our graph. So this is a sketch of our graph. This is one way of sketching quadratic curves. You need to know the point where the graph will touch the x-axis and where it will catch the y-axis. Then you find your turning point and the minimum value. If you have these points, then you can sketch the quadratic.